All right, so number hit the tiger. I feel like it's physical, especially at first. I think this move's physically more challenging than some of the other ones. Let me just go ahead and see your hit the tiger. Just go ahead and try it a couple times each way. We're gonna do a few more so don't totally burn out on going low. Okay, come to the front, and I'll do a few for you. And when you have that feeling like your shoe's gonna come tight, just a little loose, see what happens. Well, I know you all wanted to do that. I'm gonna, normally you're supposed to do these more quickly, I'm gonna kind of feel through it a little bit, just to make sure something. That depth. More each way. We'll see what happens. Right. Okay, questions, comments, suggestions? What do you see?
That's a lot lower than I could ever go.
That's okay. I didn't try to even go low for a very long time, so. But yeah, maybe, yeah. Give it time. But thank you. Any other? Thank you.
So you, the end game, you want your thigh to become parallel, like your bed thigh.
Well, you know, so let's do this. Let's see, does he go even lower than that? So, yeah, so in his lowest low, it's passed. Like his 5 out of 6. This is probably like my 6 out of 6. That's pretty cool. Oh, you actually see, this is 5. Yeah.
So but when you get the, I guess, I have a problem, like, I'm not able to just, I step and I have to scoot out.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to get comfortable with figuring out where to step in one fluid motion.
Yes. And yeah, so.
Because I can go lower if I step out further than what my actual step would be.
Then you're, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. I think, so if I think back to when I was learning this for the first time, I think what I would do, I was probably just kind of falling into it to get too big. And if you're being careful about not falling into it, then your step would be some corner.
That's probably what I don't want to fall under,
yeah. And it's actually a good, it's a good instinct to not want to fall into it, but I think some amount of that probably just has to go on at the beginning to get out to the bigger size. Yeah. That's my guess. Yeah. So I would actually call the first distance probably better for your hidden tiger, actually from what I just saw. Yeah, that's as big as I would actually go right now. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so and you know, everyone's body is different, but in general, there's a distance where if I step big enough, I can go low, and if I step bigger than that, I actually can't go as low. And that's going to be about, if I just kind of work it out like this, it's going to be about that distance is my main, if I keep it aligned correctly for hit the tiger, this is going to be the distance where I can go the lowest.
Okay, so just go with my body.
Yeah. I can go here and then technically go lower, but some things have to come out of alignment for that to happen. Does that make sense? Yeah, try a few more and then I'll say a few more things. Yeah, I'll just let you work with what you saw. Closer. Yeah, a little bit.
I like going deeper that time.
Yeah.
That's my time frame.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Does that feel?
Kind of turn like
Yeah.
so you're not like looking over your shoulder, you turn a little bit.
Little
You
bit.
are, but
Yeah, a little bit. So the hips will be the guide to how much on that one. And yeah, try one more. Talk about the hips, because the hips are the most common correction for this one. And I'll show you an extreme example. None of y'all are doing this, but I'll show you an extreme example of how the hips need to be corrected. So people will step out and they'll try to go low, and they'll go low like this. This hip is coming up. And the trick to going low is actually to take the opposite hip and try to go down. So if I take the straight leg hip and try to drop it, I'll get more of the correct alignment of how the hips are supposed to be to then twist through the rest of the body.
Is it more like you're sitting back too, like
Ooh, good question.
almost like sitting on like a little chair or something?
So-
But legs are different. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think I'm going to go ahead and say most of the time the answer is no.
Okay.
So what I'm going to say is most of the time is you want to feel pretty upright when you're going down into it. This is the first common error. The second common error is to go low. Students will often bend forward, and then it looks like I'm low because my view is low, but really I want this part of me to go low and my view to kind of be on top of it still. Now, if you look at number 6, if you look at number 6 in the book, he's going, see if I can try to do it without hurting myself. He's going so low that to be upright would actually put pressure on this side. So when he's very low, he's going to bend in. Oh wow, I've never gone that one. But does that make sense? So if you, this is just a common learning martial arts kind of thing. If you see someone who's done it a while go low and then bend to be balanced in it, then another student might try to go low and bend, but they're not that low, so it comes out. It comes out with that, as far as alignment. Does that make sense? So, let's see. Those are the two main, just like corrections. It's straight leg, hip in, and that one helped me a lot. Like, I was like, oh, it feels totally different. And then try to stay upright until you're really, really, really low. Any questions on that? So, so a more conceptual thing that might help you just feel through it, let's do a few together, is, well, let's do just the arms for a second. So think of the wrists coming down, coming out, and then making fists, and coming in like with the backwards embracing force. Yeah, so they'll be at the wrong height, but that feeling of down and around in is what the arms are going to do while you step out and turn and tilt. So that can actually help with your balance sometimes when you're stepping out. Questions on that? All right, try a few more. I'll let you do them without copying me, and I'll come around and try to give you little extra tips. Good. Do a little more head suspended. Yeah. And then as long as the tuck doesn't come out when your head's suspended, good to go. Turn the toes just a little more again. There you go. Yeah. And the arms here. More like, yeah. Questions? Cool. And now you've done a bunch, you're not gonna go home. Take your thinking
I'm
time.
amazed at how much better one side is.
Wow. I feel your pain on that one.
My right side is, I can't. So it's fake.
Yeah. You know, I think some of us walk around with all these tightnesses we don't know about one side and not the other. It takes a posture like this to reveal it sometimes. how y'all's hit the tigers right now. Good, yeah. Yep. Let's see what else to say. He talks about breath in the book. He says it's one big inhale and then one exhale. Come out of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's very visual, like with the arms, like it goes in time with the arms.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Inhale, hold it.
Yeah, but he doesn't see it's supposed to be so quick. That,
Yeah.
yeah. And I tend to like get into it and I'm like looking around and feeling through it. But he's like, this is not what you're supposed to hang out in, basically. Don't with like ride the tiger, you can sit there and really like, yeah, ride the tiger. This one, don't do that unless you're just trying to hurt yourself. And and he, other thing he says in the book, just off the top of my head, is he talks about coming out of it, making sure that this knee doesn't come in to push off. I can see that. I don't think that ever happened to me, but it's just keeping a bit of knee out when you push off to not put that pressure on the knee. If I see that happen, I'll call it out, but maybe if I missed it, just be careful for that. What else? Yeah, rounded, connected through the chest and arms. Okay, any other questions on that one? You want to do a few more, or are you gonna? But not. I'll let you do some more on your own. That's what I'm like, we've been doing a lot of these. All right, persistent action. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves that goal without quitting. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves the goal without quitting. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves a goal without quitting.
That's Senior Head Instructor.
Now, to beginner students, pardon me, like such training dismissed.